Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
We're back and we're moving into our final conversation for today. We shifted it around a bit. Of course, Dr. Pott, we are grateful that you're able to carve out this time for us to be able to help us demystify these different variants that we keep on hearing about. You know, we're talking about the Greek alphabet here, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Those are the variants of concerns. Good morning, Dr. Pott.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
All right, we're doing great.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a very important topic. And I think maybe we can start just for the benefit of some of our viewers to just talk about variants in general and in the context of COVID-19. We started out, with this pandemic with always referring to it as the virus. And then all of a sudden we started hearing about the different variants. So can you explain how it is that variants do develop and what they are?
Yeah. So it's, I would say, almost natural. Well, it's natural for a virus to mutate over time. It's quite common in viruses. It's their method of survival. Sometimes it makes the virus stronger. Sometimes it makes it weaker. And the more a virus multiplies and transmit from one person to the next, gives it more opportunity to mutate. And so when we find a virus with different mutations, then that is labeled as a variant, okay, as a different variant. So when we're talking about the COVID-19 virus, we started off with the virus that was originally detected in Wuhan. And now we have all these variants of the virus, some of concern, some listed under investigation, and some that are being monitored. Yeah. Of course, the ones that are concerned are the ones that are highly, that have increased in masses in different in different countries, and where transmissibility has increased, and the infection. So yes, this chart that we just pulled up here, the most important ones on this that are listed are the alpha, beta, gamma, delta variants.
So they're called VOCs. Yeah, so they're variants. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So the mutation of viruses always happens. The difference is when that mutation changes to something where it may become more of a threat in some way or another. And we've heard the WHO talk about variants of interest and then variants of concern. Can you help us understand the difference between the two?
Well, variants under investigation.
Under investigation.
Yeah, so those are the ones that, I can't really give all the information. Well, they're under investigation, and they're not exactly the ones that are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Most
that
concerning?
are present in the population as the ones of concern. These are the ones that are that the numbers have highly increased. Before it was the alpha variant that had become the dominant variant in the US, and that was first detected in the UK. Right now it accounts for about 25% of infections in the US, while the Delta, as of June of this year, has become the dominant strain. And that one was first detected in India.
Yes.
So now that accounts for more than 50%. I think, to be exact, the last update was in June of this year, where it accounts for about 51.6%. That was the figure that was given, 51.6% of infections in the United States. And so the thing about the Delta variant is that the mutation, the important advantage that this mutation gives to the virus is that it makes the virus more transmissible. So because of that, it has quickly evolved and become the dominant variant.
Yeah.
Not just the transmissibility property, but also the fact that it is infecting more younger people and children. So when we look at our neighbors in Mexico who are now reporting that they're in their third wave, they have an increase in the alpha and the gamma variant.
Yeah.
But they do have the delta variant, which they do expect to see the numbers increasing in those as well.
And that's, because of, as you said, the high transmissibility of the Delta variant. So naturally, where that occurs, you would expect to see the numbers increase significantly.
Yeah.
Of course.
So the main variants of concern are alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. We need to be very wary of these ones because what we do know so far about them is concerning.
Of course, and so like I explained before, the mutation allows for the Delta virus to transmit more easily. And before, when we were seeing increased numbers in the elderly people, the younger people and children are also being affected now by the Delta variant.
Yeah.
So.
And in terms of the effect that it does have on those positive cases, are we also seeing the effects of the virus itself also manifesting? Because of course, when we speak of COVID, and a lot of people are still under the impression that it's really only dangerous to people with underlying conditions or elderly people. Are we seeing the ways how the virus behaves differently as well? With these concerning?
This is what I was just explaining, that it is behaving differently in terms of who it's affecting. Like you just mentioned, we had, the wave where it was mostly the elderly that were becoming severely ill. But now with this Delta variant, we have younger people and children that are being affected and becoming ill as well. So there was recently a study done from April to June in England, where I believe it was over 14,000 people that were studied within that period of time, and they had received the AstraZeneca vaccine. And so this had proven 86% and 92% efficiency against hospitalization against the Delta Alpha and Delta strains, respectively. So to just touch a little there, to say that the vaccine is, efficient, and which is why it's important for us to get vaccinated.
So when you talk about why these particular variants, these four at least out of all the many that there are, is that the changes that has been made is that one, it spreads so much easier. So I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, we were talking about exposure time unmasked. Now it's even less because you will catch it even easier.
Yes. So let's go back to the alpha strain.
Yeah.
So studies have showed that is 70% more transmissible than the original Wuhan virus.
Wow.
While the Delta is 40 to 70% more easy to transmit than the alpha strain. So we're talking about,
highly transmissible.
High increase in its ability to transmit from one person to the next. So it's highly contagious.
And we know with the gamma, it has been affecting even babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is new. That's something we didn't see before in the early stages of COVID-19.
Exactly, and this all has to do with, like I mentioned in the very beginning, that virus mutate, and these new mutations, these new properties that they've developed, allows for them to become more aggressive. Some of them to be more aggressive, while others are less and not as important. This is why there is that classification between the variants of concern, the variants under investigation, and the ones that are being monitored.
You know, you also touched on something which was important, and in relation to the vaccines, and you had said that that they were 86 and 92%, I think, were the figures that you used, vaccinated, preventing against getting a
Alpha and 86 against the Delta efficiency against hospitalization.
Yes. So it's important to just point out, I suppose, for our viewers that you know, the vaccine, it doesn't prevent you from contracting it. So you can still be vaccinated, you can still contract one of these variants, but it's just that the risk of getting a serious case is a bit lower. Would that be correct to say?
Yes, that is correct. But the vaccines do work. They do protect you. You know, I don't want to bring across the wrong message when it comes to vaccination. The vaccines protect. They protect you against the severity of the disease, against hospitalization, and against the symptoms themselves. So it is very important to still be vaccinated.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think that's what's been lost a lot, that people don't, what we are able to be protected of the most from vaccinations for COVID-19 is that even if I get it, I won't end up so sick that I end up in a hospital needing intensive care. Dr. Pott, I know that you have worked in COVID units, you've seen people suffer and struggle to breathe. You know, when you hear some of the information coming out these days, what are your thoughts, having had the experience you had?
Well, of course, it's scary to see that the numbers are rising again, because, like you said, I mean, we've been here. I've been on the show where I've discussed what our life was like on the front lines during that time, and so I'm a bit disappointed, I would say, that, you know, people have not been willingly embracing the vaccine. It's free, it's there, it's accessible to us, where a lot of other countries don't have that. I spoke to Dr. Diaz this morning, asking her about the numbers that have been vaccinated, and it's very low. Still, although more people have been coming out recently, from what I calculated from the number she gave me, only about 27% have received the first dose, and who have received both doses is about 9.5%. That's still low for a country the size of Belize.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
and with a goal of 70% to achieve herd immunity, it's
exactly.
a long way to go.
What this means is that, like we've been saying, you know, it decreases the risk of becoming severely ill. So while people are pushing that, you know, you can still contract the virus, you must remember that, yes, but if you go home to grandma and grandma is vaccinated, then there's less probability for grandma to end up in the hospital or to die.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's important to note as well, and you can confirm this, is that, you know, even from the international cases, the very serious cases and the deaths are in unvaccinated people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so that's what we know so far. Alpha is more transmissible. Delta is more transmissible than alpha. Gamma, and gamma is affecting younger children and spreads faster. And I don't remember what's beta's claim to fame.
Well, that was the South African strain, originally known as the South African strain.
Okay.
But again, more transmissible than the original virus. Yeah. You know, that is what is important in all these variants of concern, that we're seeing increase in those over the original strain of the virus.
All right. Well, Dr. Pott, we appreciate you breaking it down for us today. We've been hearing about the Greek alphabet of COVID, and it's key that we get a better understanding as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
Stay safe and thank you.
Thank you too. Have a nice day.
All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.